to our latest webinar. I've got the amazing Darren with me from O Water. Thank you for joining me, Darren. How are you?
I'm very well, Sarah. Thank you very much. Lovely to be on here with you. It's been a long time coming. A bit of planning's gone into this, I think. Just too much.
Well, it's good. We finally got there. So I put a list together of some questions because I don't think people know enough about O Water, about water in general, to be honest. So I wanted to start by asking you, can you tell me a bit more of the story behind O Water, please?
Yeah, so O Water was really more of a rabbit hole for myself more than anything else. It kind of started around 2020 when my wife was not well. So we started looking at everything holistically in terms of being better. She was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. She was very, very poorly. And I went down a rabbit hole of looking at what we can eat, what we can drink, and all these other different bits and pieces, from everything from doing sauna, cold plunge, the different foods that we can have. But one of the things that kept drawing me back in was the water. So we stopped drinking tap water almost straight away with just a little bit of research. Didn't take that long at all to realise just how bad the tap water is. Even though the UK has some of the best tap water in the world, it's still not good for you because of the chemicals they put in order to clean it. They put other stuff in there as well, but the best water that you can drink is a natural spring water. And that all come about just from doing a little bit of research and looking into what we were putting into our body. Katie's now had gone on and had surgery because of the Crohn's disease. She was very poorly again because of that. But the water actually helped her. She had to have a PICC line put in her arm, which is like a permanent cannula. So she had to have that, and I had to give her an infusion, a magnesium infusion, 3 times a week. I had to learn how to, put the gloves on properly and hook her up to the IV drip, and then get it all hooked in and going and running overnight. We did all of that. She was doing that for about 6 months, and then we took delivery of the water in the November of last year. She drank the water for a month with our harmonic treatment that we do to the water, and then nothing. She didn't need it anymore. She didn't need the IV drip. They turned around and said, "You don't need the IV drip anymore."
Wow.
But that was because we believe, it is our assumption, that it's not just because it's good quality water, it's natural spring water, it has natural minerals in it, but we also treat the water literally with harmony by playing a sound frequency to our water, and it changes the structure of the water. And we believe that had an influence and helped and benefited Katie.
Yeah, so you talked there about like harmonizing the water. So I think that's maybe, so you're using spring water, so O Water is spring water, and then you talk about harmonizing the water. So can you explain what that means, and is it different? How is it different?
So if you think that we are made up of 70% water, and have you ever been and had a sound bath? Yeah, you
Yes.
understand the concept behind laying there and somebody's playing different instruments. Each of those instruments have got a different sound frequency, and each of those sound frequencies are associated with one of the chakras, which a lot of people don't know. So we treat our water with 528 hertz by literally giving our water a sound bath. So in the
Wow.
same way that you have a sound bath,
Yeah.
we give our water a sound bath, and it changes the structure of the water molecules.
That's incredible.
And then by doing that, what we're doing and what we're hoping to achieve, and what we are seeing, the results come back from, we're getting anecdotal references from people telling us how makes them feel calmer and all sorts of other different bits and pieces. But when people enjoy our product, they do it, and they do it with intention as well, which is completely different from just, it's not just drinking water for the sake of hydration. It's drinking water because it's going to have a benefit, we believe, on a cellular level, in the same way that the harmonic sound treatment would affect you as an individual, because it affects the water molecules within your body. There's lots of science behind sound baths because we now know it affects brain waves and other bits and pieces, but it also does affect the water, the structure in your body as well.
And what frequency did you say you use?
So we use 528 hertz. That is it's the sound frequency associated with the solar plexus chakra. So whenever you have a sound bath, it's one of the larger bowls, whether it's a crystal bowl or a Himalayan bowl. Uh, the, the instrument that they use as 528 hertz is associated with the solar plexus chakra, which is associated with love and healing as well. So there's a
Wow.
little bit more behind it because the healing element to it. We wanted to give Katie as much opportunity as we could to help her, and now we want to give that to everybody else as well.
That's incredible. And so you solely drink harmonized water?
I wouldn't say solely drink. I do enjoy a whiskey every now and again. We do still drink tea and coffee, but when we drink water, we will only drink we'll only drink mineral water from a spring source, and we only drink from glass bottles as well now, to avoid microplastics and stuff like that you
Yeah.
get in the plastic bottles. So it's not just about the quality of the water. The quality of the water is really important. You know, not
Mhm.
touched by human hands or nothing added, nothing taken away. Naturally occurring water is bottled at source. But we said straight away, no plastic bottles, and we will never
Mm.
touch plastic.
No, especially for sustainability, and we know so much more now about the microplastics that get released when you continuously drink out of plastic bottles. I think a lot of people, you had a metal one there, we have glass bottles. There's just so many alternatives nowadays, and we know the health implications.
The health implications, they're actually stating now that microplastics, you can reduce up to 90% of your microplastic intake by avoiding drinking from plastic bottles.
Mm.
Microplastics are the leading cause in infertility in both men and women, as well as a leading cause in stroke and heart issues and stuff like that as well, because it literally gets in everywhere.
No, we don't as a family. We've moved away now to metal bottles. But I want to get back to the water. From a health perspective, how does the harmonized water interact with the body compared to perhaps the more standard water?
So it literally changes the structure of the water. So in terms of the way the molecules align, it doesn't do anything that's going to be impacting on you negatively. You're not going to have a negative reaction to it at all. What it
Mm-hmm.
does is it changes the structure so it's more literally harmonious with your body and in sync with the natural rhythms of your body. So it's not proven to be something that it's not more absorbable or anything like that. It's just that
Mm-hmm.
it's got something to it that makes it better for you in the way and in the sense that it's more natural and it's more loving to the cells, if you know what I mean. It's literally the frequency is a loving frequency that we're infusing the water with, and that is what the benefit is. We're not gonna we're not gonna say that it does anything miraculous because
Mm-hmm.
we're not saying that it does anything specific, but we believe and we can see because we can show that the structure of the water changes by freezing it. So the crystals that are formed when we freeze the water are identical. You can see it's a predictable structure in the crystal shapes, and that's because of the harmonisation of the water, the treatment that we give it. And because of that, we know that you can be drinking water from any source. Like if you drink water and you've just had an argument with your husband or one of the kids or whatever, and if you have an argument, water will pick up on that.
Yeah, I've heard
And
this. It's not the first time I've heard this.
and and that's the thing. That's why you should never eat angry. Uh, you shouldn't drink anything when you're angry, because you aren't in the right harmony to absorb the minerals correctly in that way. I think I can't remember where it was. I know it was in the States. I can't remember which university it was. They did a test where they were feeding literally poison to rabbits, and
Mm.
one of the guys that was feeding the rabbits was stroking the rabbits and going, "It's okay. I promise this isn't going to hurt you that much," sort of thing. And the rabbits that had that treatment and were fed by that professor, doctor, whoever it was, those rabbits didn't have severe consequences of that poison compared to the rabbits that were just thrown the pellets and gone, go and get that down you. And
Wow.
that's because of the environment that they were in. It's stuff like that. It's just these subtle changes. And that's what we're trying to promote with O Water is the subtle change that you can have in having a harmonised water versus just having a water that, has been delivered off the back of a truck where someone's, Amazon drivers driving around going, "Oh, get out of the way." You
Yeah.
don't want that in your life. So our water's takes off from our facility in a box that's double uh, double walled to protect
Mm.
from all of the sound frequencies, everything getting in there, and then it's delivered to your door, and you can then drink that knowing that it's been treated with love and harmony, literally, before it gets to you.
Yeah, I mean, we all know how good we feel after a sound bath. I had one on Saturday night, and after you've had a sound bath, you feel great. You you can't. I mean, I'm not scientific enough to know. You don't. I don't know how it does it, but you feel incredible. So
Yeah,
there's something to all of this. 100%.
we work with a number of sound healers as either affiliates or partners that we go and do, various different things with. The science behind it is only just being caught up. It's been Eastern medicine for years as part of what they do day to day. Church bells are no longer across Europe. They used to be part of the healing process. If you have a look at the way that churches and all of that are designed, it's designed for the acoustics. Holy water literally is derived because the sound frequency in the churches reverberate in such a way that it affects the water and changes the
Wow.
structure of the water. It's
Oh,
not
I
to
never
do
thought
with
about
it's all of these things that we're kind of relearning, if you like, because it's lost knowledge. Because people get handed down things, whether it's stories or they say, "Oh, that's an old wives' tale." But there must have been something to it or a reason behind it, and it's been handed down over generations. But
that. It's just
over
the
that time period, it's lost what was. Why did we do this? Why do we play a certain sound before we do X, Y, and Z, and singing in choirs and stuff like that in church. It was literally to raise your spirits and raise your soul and raise your vibration.
I
And that's what
wonder.
the water is kind of part of.
I wonder why it is that water often gets overlooked in conversations. I wonder why, you're talking there about sound frequency and stuff. I wonder why it is that we do talk a lot about like the juices we want to drink. We're talking a lot about the quality of the food we drink. I wonder why we haven't really touched so much in society or general communication about water.
Yeah, I think more people are starting to become more aware of the quality of water is a big issue with people. Now, but like even yourself, you're looking at microplastics and moving away from that, and you're drinking out of glass receptacles and stuff. We drink out of this is a copper lined bottle as well. Copper's the best thing to drink out of if you can. But the water itself and the source that it comes from, people often neglect that because there's not an awareness as much about. So our water comes from Northern Ireland.
Oh.
It's got natural minerals in it that it picks up through its natural filtration process.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of waters out there, they've got added minerals in there because the water's been distilled. They call it vapor distilled. It means boiled. If they boil the water off, which gets rid of all of the good stuff as well as all of the bad stuff that might be in there. But we've picked a source that's got a lot of a lot of very good naturally occurring minerals at a decent level. So our water, there's this thing called TDS, which is total dissolved solids, and that's basically the amount of minerals that you've got in your liquid in the water. Now TDS is made up of lots of different minerals. So the more minerals that you've got in there, brilliant. But if you've got all salt, our TDS is about 350. Most waters are below 100, and there's some that have got thousands. But if you've got 1,000 TDS, but that's all sodium, you've got literally salt water. That's not good for you. You need to have magnesium, potassium, all these other minerals in there as well. So it's about finding a water source that's got a good mineral count, but of good quality minerals as well that you want to be absorbing in your body. And our water has, not just in our opinion, it's provable, some of the best minerals and some of the highest quality water that's around.
So
And
you
that's why
lead
we
the
choose to
movement.
bottle it in glass as well, because we want to protect that as much as possible.
So you leave the minerals in from Ireland, so it's naturally filtered water from Ireland. You then bottle it there, bring it back to the UK, then you harmonise it, or does the harmonisation happen over in Ireland?
So we get it. It gets bottled at source, so it can be called spring water. Because as soon as you take water away from the source and bottle it elsewhere, it's not. It can be called mineral water still, but it can't be called spring water. So we've got a spring water that's bottled at source.
Okay.
We then get that shipped to our facility, which we've got a big unit, and that's where we give the water the sound bath effectively. We use a harmonic frequency generator, and that pitches a perfect tone of 528 hertz. So we've got about 20,000 bottles at a time in a big unit that's all been sound insulated
Mm-hmm.
so that no other sounds can get in there. I don't know if I showed you this. I've got an app that
No.
I use on my phone. So we went in there, and I've got an app that tells us what the frequency is, and our frequency is 528 hertz in that room. Nothing else gets in, nothing else gets out. Uh, and then what we do is we package it in there so that it seals in that frequency within our boxes before we ship it out.
And how long
So
does it
we
have? How long does it have the sound? But the sound bath for? How long does it have the frequency? Does it? Is it minutes, hours? How long does it take for that change in the
we,
structure of the water to happen?
the structure of the water can change within as little as 15 minutes, but the longer you leave it, the longer we believe it's going to have a holding effect and stay within the water. Water has a memory, if you like,
Mm.
because it changes the structure according to the last thing that it had played to it or spoken to it, or
Yeah.
any emotions as well. They can rub off on water. Um, so we tend to treat our water for 24 hours before it gets shipped out as a minimum. But
Right.
we've got places of water in our facility that are there, and they've been there for the last 6 7 months, treated, sat there ready and waiting to go.
So it holds. So it holds the frequency, that structure, indefinitely. Once it's in the packaging, in the bottle, it then comes out, and then it's ready to go. And because it's got that kind of protection, that it maintains that structure, I guess.
It maintains it because we've got a double walled cardboard box that protects it from sounds getting into it in transport. And when we reckon, so when the storage directions on most water products are store in a cool, dry place, um, that kind of thing. Ours actually said cool and dark. You should never store water in direct sunlight as well, especially if you've got plastic bottles, because that makes it worse. It's store in a cool, dark, dry place, and as we add the quiet as well, if possible, so that the water isn't disturbed.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
should
I get that.
put the water in a nice quiet spot in the house, uh, out of the way of the kids, uh, so that when you do come to take a bottle, if you're going to put it in the fridge, put it in the fridge. We recommend drinking water not at room temperature, but not ice cold. It's because it's got something called mouth. You get mouth shock. You can't taste the water. Our water's got a lovely taste to it. We want people to experience that as well. So we recommend that you store it in a quiet place so that it protects it as much as possible, and keep it in our packaging because we've got the double walled boxes that
Mm.
looks after the water. The care for the water is all the way from what once it's bottled with care over in Northern Ireland. Trust me, we've spoken to the team over there. The team in Northern Ireland, they use a mixed ability workforce as well. So
Oh, cool.
they employ people over there that are, everything from might be a missing arm, missing leg, might be mental health issues. They employ those people over there to bottle our products, which is another addition that we think is brilliant. So we know
Mm.
that they're passionate about their work because they've got a great job, and this isn't a minimum wage job either. There's some skill involved in using the machinery to doing the bottling. They
Yeah.
do all of that there in Northern Ireland, and it comes over to us, loved there, gets to us, loved here as well. And then when we ship it out, and hopefully when you get it and then you enjoy it, you love it as well.
I love that. I really love it. Um, I was just in my own little world then, thinking that's really nice. um,
We
What
spoke
are
to
some of the?
52
Oh,
different
sorry.
suppliers for water when we were looking at this initially. 52, and it come down to two, and we chose these ones. Quality of the water massively came into it, but it come down to two, and the fact that they employed a mixed ability workforce is one of the biggest reasons that they picked the other guys to becoming our main water supplier.
Yeah, I think that's so important. I really love that, especially when like companies are going for accreditation, like B Corp accreditation for sustainability and those sort of aspects. It's really important for businesses to look at where they're getting their supply from, who they're working with, and things like that. So I love that you've done that. Like you've purposely selected a business that works with people from all walks of life and gives them a role and pays them well for the role that they're doing. And I love that. And like you say, if you're bottling water for love, it's got to start at the source, hasn't it? When it comes out the spring, it needs to have that energy. You can't work with somewhere that's like a huge manufacturing plant, because I guess then the water has that manufacturing plant element if it's coming out of a spring rather than that kind of care and love. Um, what are the common myths around bottled or enhanced waters that you'd like to bust? Because I'm assuming that you're saying the difference between mineral and spring. I guess there are some things even from that level that we really don't understand.
Well, it's not really about understanding; it's about more about the misunderstanding. So people make assumptions about things. So we've got there's people out there that go, oh, well, water's water. It comes out of the tap. Why do I need to worry about water? Okay, there are people we understand that are going to be ignorant to those kind of things, but we want to educate at the same time and say that the quality of the water that you drink directly impacts your health. But we also think that it impacts a lot more than just your health, because obviously we treat our water with sound frequency, and we believe that has an effect emotionally, spiritually, however you want to define it.
Mm.
But at a cellular level, water is, and we are 70% water. It affects
Mm.
us. So the quality of the water is one of the biggest things that people need to start looking into straight away for their health at the least. If you
Mm.
just want to know, if you want to enhance the physical by making sure that you've got all the minerals that you've got in there, and hydration isn't about drinking water. If you go and boil tap water, it takes all of the good minerals out as well as the bad minerals. And if you're
Yeah.
drinking that, you're drinking dead water, and that will actually leach the all of the calcium, potassium, magnesium. It will leach that out of your body, and it will actually dehydrate you unless you
Oh.
put it back in. Which is why a lot more people talk about electrolytes and everything. Water has natural electrolytes in it. It's just a clear liquid, but it
Mm-hmm.
absorbs all of these minerals, and that's what people need to know more about and understand. Because what they think is that if I pour this packet of sugary stuff in there, it's got good stuff in there that I need in order to. You can get that from a natural spring water. You don't need to go and add stuff to it as well.
You can just take the
That's the
water
biggest
as it
myth.
is. You can take the water as it is from a spring, and it naturally gives your body what your body needs.
As long as it's got, so you need to read the side of even the water that you're drinking. Make sure it's got a decent level of uh, soluble solids in there, and make sure that it's got all the right ones in there. You're going to need magnesium, potassium. There's a big list of. They're mostly salts as well. People go, oh, you can't. Salt's not good for you. Salts are electrolytes. They're the things that your body needs in order to absorb and to become hydrated, and
Yeah,
literally makes you up as well.
because you can drink water and it not absorb if you don't have the minerals in it, because it's the minerals that absorb into your water. I've had a friend have that before, where they were dehydrated and they drank a lot of water, but the water wasn't absorbing in, and they were just getting more and more ill. And they were like, "Oh, I'm dehydrated," and I said, "You need to have some more salts in there. You need your minerals in there, because effectively the water's not being absorbed. You're clearing all your minerals out in the speed you're drinking water." So I've had experience of that. I do know what you mean with regards to you need minerals to absorb water.
Exactly. It's more of an awareness of the content of the minerals in the water that you're drinking. And by drinking a mineral water, spring water preferably because it's natural, that's even
Mm-hmm.
going to be better for you. But Worst case scenario, if you've got no other water anywhere else and it is a hydration thing, do get something that you can add to it. You know, we've got Celtic salt at home. We use Malden sea salt
Mm,
in all of our cooking and everything. Um,
yeah.
if you've got no access to water apart from tap water for whatever reason, bit of sea salt in there, that'll help you remineralise and help hydrate you as well.
Mm. So if someone
Only a
was
couple of
listening, they're in the spa industry, they want to start to be more mindful about water they drink, but also how they're using water in their spa, how can they start?
it's about mindfulness about the water as well. I think it's so being more aware and more, it's not you're not just drinking because you're thirsty. You are just drinking because you're thirsty more often than not. But uh, I mean, be a bit more present in the moment of drinking that water and present in
Mm.
offering that water. You're literally offering the liquid of life. So a little bit more care about it, a little bit more, um, not just respect, but put a bit of feeling into it. Literally give it with
Mm.
love, and then the water will absorb that. You know, we're pre-packaging our water with love and harmony. If you're going to present it to somebody, give it with that love and harmony as well, because that's going to benefit not just the client. It's, it's going to benefit the experience. They're going to feel like they've been treated better as well. But literally, the water that you're giving them is going to benefit as well, and then they're going to drink that in. So if you're going to be doing that as part of ritual or as part of as we did discuss very briefly, we want to look into developing a package around water and around sound and bringing them together. If you're going to put that together, do it intentionally, not just you know. It's like saying to somebody, "Oh, you're going to go for a sound bath? Yeah, my mates bought this gong thing, and they're going to stand there and bang it for me." There's a lot more thought needs to go into it
Yeah.
rather than just the wham bam, thank you, man.
So they can serve it at the end of the treatment, and give it intentionally. Obviously, serving it things like serving it in glass. A lot of spas
Yeah.
use plastic and paper cups, and I'm assuming paper is obviously probably not good for the water either because that has maybe chemicals or things in it that
plastic
could
lining,
leach.
plastic lining in paper cups and in metal cans as well. So if you're drinking a can of water, that's got a
Mm,
plastic lining in there, so there's still microplastics in it. So glass bottles are definitely the way forward. We won't advocate anything else. There's been lots of research around it. Um, and we consume. Someone said to me the other day, it's something like the equivalent of a credit card's worth of microplastic every week. Every week.
nasty, nasty.
And by cutting out little things like drinking out of cans, drinking out of plastic bottles, that's going to benefit you. It can only benefit you. It's not going to hurt you to say, oh, well, I'll pick up the glass bottle, for an extra 10 pence or whatever it is for a bottle of water these days, for a
Mm,
glass bottle. It's much more worth doing it. And if we can start influencing the other suppliers, I mean, we won't touch plastic, but if we can start influencing all of the providers of water, start doing it in glass bottles rather than plastic if you can, because that's going to immensely, like immeasurably, impact the health of well, not just the UK, hopefully everywhere else as well. But that's something that I want to see rolled out. I want to see things like the government stepping in and doing so. Japan and Germany are particularly good at this, and we've looked into trying to do it. Is you get your money back for returning your glass bottles.
yeah,
You
it's
know,
called
it's not. I'm
Pfand.
not being,
It's Pfand in Germany. Yeah, you have to pay for your bottle, and then when you go in, you get your money back. I used to live in Berlin. Yeah, it's called Pfand. Yeah.
so we should introduce something like that over here to encourage glass use, proper and reuse and recycling properly, rather than you know if everyone thinks recycling is chucking it in a bag and the bin man will come and take it away and they'll make sure it goes to the right place where it's supposed to go. But if we did something that was a bit more, like we used to, the milkmen, they used to come around, you used to leave your milk bottle back on the step and they used to take the milk bottle away, they'd go and clean it and refill it again with milk. Why
Yeah.
can't we bring that back in again as well?
Oh, that's a long time ago. When?
Yeah, I'm showing my age now as well, yeah.
But yeah, no, Fand is actually really good because what you do is when you order, like at a bar, for instance, your bottle of beer, you get given your bottle of beer and you get given a token. And basically, at the end, as you buy your next bottle, you buy. And when you hand your last bottle in, you hand the token in and you get your like euro back or something like that. It's a really clever system. And in the supermarket, as you buy, every bottle has like the price and the Fand. And then when you return it, you get your money back at the end of it. So it makes it really good. It makes definitely makes sense.
At the moment in the UK, any glass that gets recycled, most of it ends up in a golf course as the in the sand pits and everything in the golf courses. That's mostly where it goes to at the moment.
Didn't know that. I did not realise that. I'm going to wrap up in a second because I did not know that that's where. So before we leave, is there anything else, information-wise, or sort of talking about the water that you think would be a really nice note for us to leave on?
I think the most interesting thing that we can give to everybody that's going to end up seeing this is be a bit more conscious about the water that you're drinking. Take a bit of time about it. Read the label. Um, Preferably read a bottle of oat water as you drink before you consume it, and have a little bit of a look about what we're doing and what we're all about as well.
Yeah.
But just being a bit more conscious about that. So we're more conscious now as everybody's a little bit more into making sure that the environment's being looked after. We look after each other. With your water, that can do that as well. You can do that by making sure that for you, you're getting it from the right source and it's got the right stuff in it. Make sure that for the environment, it's not in a plastic bottle. Make sure that when you're drinking it and when you finish with it, don't just chuck it in the bin. Recycle it and be responsible as well. It's going to end up in the golf course at the moment, we know, but eventually that might get a bit better in the UK. Enjoy it, but just be a bit more conscious about, and it's the most important liquid in your life. You know, every drink that you consume's got water in it, whether you like it or not. No, if
Whether
it's
it's
the
whiskey or
whiskey,
not.
whether it's whiskey or tea or coffee, beer, whatever it might be, your fruit juices as well. It is water in there. Majority of it is water. Come back to the water and look at the quality of the water that's going into the products that you're drinking. And whiskey, gin, everything starts off as water.
Mm.
They add stuff to the water to change it into alcohol.
Yeah, yeah. But what I love is, what I love, pun not intended, is the love and healing. I love that you're considering it just more beyond the water has more benefit to our body by adding that love and healing harmonization to it as well. I think it's time that we looked a little bit further beyond water being water and actually what else can we do and what can we do that aligns with spa, aligns with sound baths, and all of this sort of stuff that we're starting to get more and more knowledge with. Actually it does start, like you say, with something that we're putting in our body every day.
It does, yeah. And we started with the idea that we just wanted to be drinking better, get rid of tap water. What's the best quality water? What's the best type of water we can drink? We drank the best type. What's the best type of container we can drink it out of? Because we drink out of glass, we drink out of copper. We kept on elevating the product, and then we went, well, what else can we do to the water? And the rabbit hole with there's a guy called Dr. Masuro Emoto. He wrote loads of. So he's a scientist from Japan. There's a wonderful lady called Veda Austin as well. If you go and have a look, she does things with water, freezes it, and shows all the different patterns that come out of it. Stunning stuff. How can you elevate the water even further and get it even better? Some people will argue it will be turning it into whiskey or gin. I argue that it will be treating it with love and harmony.
I love that, and I love that as the last leaving note. Darren, thank you so much. It's been incredible to learn more about it, and I look forward to celebrating more O Water with you.
We'll cheers with a glass of water, which
Yeah.
isn't bad luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.